This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 96. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Matt. I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Peter Rios.
We are sexy bitches, yeah!
And welcome to the show. This episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by the New York City Comic Con, February 24th through 26th at the Jacob Javits Center. It is poised to become the East Coast's most fantastic comic convention ever. It's Friday. You can get a ticket for Friday only for $15. Saturday and Sunday tickets are $25 each, or you can get a 3-day pass for $35. And we're going to be there. And then there's some other people going to be there, like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee. And, it's not nearly as cool as us. And so we hope to see you all there, and it should be a really good time. So please come on down. And a reminder, our Book of the Month Club for January is Aranya, Heart of the Spider, Volume 1 Digest. It is available in stock trades for $4.80, as well as Volume 2 of Aranya, if you want to keep reading. And we have 2 contests in the month of January. It's getting close to the end of the deadline now, which is the end of the month. And the first contest is a toy contest that is Shane's baby. Just take a picture of toys that you have, whether it's a room full of toys or whether it's a diorama or some really rare cool toy or something you want to spotlight and you think we'll dig. Shane's got a few prizes. The top prize, which will be based basically on Shane's pick, which one he likes the most, and that will be the Rainbow Connection Kermit from Palisades Toys. And he's got a few other prizes, right?
Yep, I just got the package from Sean for the Hero Clicks, the limited Fantastic Four 4-pack, and the Charity Hulk, and there was also a Thor in there. I have a Utapau Clone Trooper that was a Target exclusive, as well as a red variant Clone Trooper from the Revenge of the Sith line, and I'm still looking for 1 or 2 more. So
cool. I was looking at our log files, and we got a lot of hits from some forum based in the Philippines that's all about toys, and they're all hitting up our forum because they want to enter the contest, and they're doing all kinds of entries, and they're all talking about it and stuff. And half of it's in English, and the other half's in Tagalog, which is their native language. So I'm reading, and I'm reading English, and all of a sudden I'm like, it looks like mumbo jumbo, and I was like, wait, what the hell? Oh, that's Tagalog. Okay. So we got a lot of hits from the Philippines. Yeah.
Well, there was that one guy who has a pool table with the life-size JLA and I think his Manganer Z life-size for 6 feet tall figures, and he's got a light over the pool table that's all Superman embedded, and it's just like this totally posh comic book place in Mecca, and I'm like, oh, God.
And then our other contest is Versus contest, sponsored by Upper Deck Versus Cards. If you have any artistic capability whatsoever, draw a picture of somebody versus somebody, whether it's good guy versus bad guy, good guy versus good guy, us versus the world, whatever, and post it on the forum. By the way, the other contest has to be posted on our forum as well. And we will each pick our favorite, and 5 people will receive a Upper Deck versus Fantastic Four starter decks, valued at about $10 each. So that'll be fun. Get some very, very good entries so far.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So
lots of talented
deadline's
people.
looming, so get your entries in.
I want to also talk about episode 100 this Sunday, January 22nd, Golden Eagle Comics, Reading, PA. If you need directions or anything like that, on our forum we've been talking about it as well. Arrival time 12 o'clock, start time 2 o'clock for the recording. We're asking anybody that comes in spends $5 at the store, which is very easy to do. And he has a great selection of stuff, so I'm sure somebody will find something.
What's the exact address of the Paragon Square Mall? That way people can type
5th Street
in.
Highway.
Yeah, there is a number, and I can't remember it right
Yeah.
now. Go to our forum.
I do have the...
Yeah, because you put it on there.
Yeah, I put the actual
255,
address
I don't
on our forum. There's a thread dedicated to the 100th episode, and somewhere in that long thread is the address of the mall. And if you do a search, the mall has a website, so it's the Fairgrounds Square Mall in Reading, Pennsylvania, and they have a website.
You can even do a Google search on Golden Eagle Comics Reading, PA, and it'll come up that way as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be podcasting from our different location of Why I'm Missing, which is Pennsylvania Dutch for rough grouse's vagina.
What? I don't even want to know.
No, did you ever see Anchorman?
All right, that's enough of that.
No.
And then people wonder why we cut you off.
Well,
You can tell he's back on the do.
yeah. No, I haven't had due in a couple weeks.
There's a $25 door prize from In Stock Trades. So everybody who comes in, you'll sign a little paper. We'll ask somebody to pull a name from a hat. And then we're just going to have a bunch of other things planned.
That's right.
Come on
You
out.
have no idea what we have up our sleeve.
Neither do we.
We haven't had that meeting yet. Yeah. Okay.
Except for the administrative stuff, right?
I think so. I got an email from Michael Parkinson down in Australia.
Beauty, mate.
He wants to know a few things. He says, I know you've talked about this before, but what are the underrated gems? Say your top 3 or 5 bargain bin comics or runs that can be picked up cheaply. I've just discovered some cheap back issues on Mile High Comics, and after some suggestions, Giffen and DeMatteis' run on almost every issue for $1 each. But we got stuff that's much cheaper than that, 50, 25 cents. That's a good question, though, Peter. You're like king of the 50-cent bins. What's the best stuff that you find in there?
I was going to say something, a title, but I bet you with all Villains United, it's probably going to raise now. But Suicide Squad, for the longest time, it's about 60 to 70 issues. I could constantly find that in back issue bins, and that's such a great series.
Could have said the same thing for All-Star Squadron for the longest time.
All-Star Squadron, yep.
I made my decision that I'm going to look for that the next time we go to a convention.
Cool.
Actually buy comics.
All-Star.
Yeah.
We talked about this before about Operation Galactic Storm. Although they're trading it, I know those suckers are out there in cheap bins.
The biggest one that I've seen in 25-cent bins, though, Marvels with Alex Ross, Kurt Busiek,
Kingdom Come,
Yeah.
if I see that, 50-cent bins.
Yeah. And these are I'm trying to think of things that, don't take this the wrong way, but that deserve to be in the dollar bins. That if you see a retailer selling All-Star Squadron at $5 each, that's too much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, for a
yeah.
60-cent book, that's too much. But
Infinity Incorporated.
those actually are tough. I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I Ambush Bug. I was going to say that. Definitely go for your Ambush Bug.
Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew. I just started finding them in 50-cent bins.
Before, didn't you say Millennium?
Well,
A lot of those tie-ins you can find?
yeah, a
You
lot
can
of those
find
crossovers you can
Yeah.
find. I was going to say I did the whole John Byrne run under $1. Not the whole run, each for
Run
$1,
of what?
but Fantastic Four by Byrne.
Oh, really?
Every issue was under $1, so that should be easy. You can find that.
With the exception of Losers special, I found all the Crisis crossover issues in $1 or less. I think it's every single one of those.
Trying to think of some Marvel ones.
Which, while we're on the topic, comic shop owners, if you have those bargain bins, put them in alphabetical order, because if they're not in alphabetical order, I'm not going to go through them.
Yeah.
I mean, just for fun, one year when we were in Chicago, I picked up some Marvel team ups for $0.25 or whatever. Just for nostalgia. Just to read the old cheeseball stories. But
The Giffen DeMatteis Justice League is a lot of times in the 50-cent bins, and I snatch them up because I can't stand to see them there.
I was going to say Marvel 2-in-1. I put together most of the issues that Perez drew, but I have a nice 20 to 30 issues during the Project Pegasus and before and after that I got under $1.
Oh, a good one that we just spotlighted, Flash. I find a lot of good late 70s, 80s Flash comics before Crisis.
Yeah, I think any miniseries that was in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
You should if you want to read them, look for them. I mean, that's the first thing I do at conventions. is when I'm scouting the retailers, I look for the people who are right away selling at 50 cents. They may not be in the best shape, but all I want to do is read them. That's it.
Yep.
So
between that and half off trades and hardbacks, that's the other thing I look for.
Oh,
right
yeah.
away. Plan my spots.
dollar when people sell for $1, I use the $1 back issue bins for recent stuff. I don't.
Right, exactly.
I don't buy
Stuff on the
anything
rack
in
that
the
you
80s.
thought about buying but
Yeah.
didn't, and then you say, "Yeah, well, I'll try it for."
When I was looking for my All-Star Squadron one, I was also considering $1, and I found some. When I got down to the wire of needing a few, I would.
And they
consider
probably
$1.
were in better condition.
They were in better condition, yeah.
And I mean, if that's
and that's what I wanted them for. I wanted them
That's
a little
fine,
bit better. But yeah, nothing more than that. $2, you got to really be something fancy. I've spent a couple, but it's got to be something I've been looking for a while.
Right.
Yeah, all
There you
right.
go.
And he also asked us, what are our top 5 books that we're reading at the moment?
Oh, yikes.
I could do it in no particular order. I mean, I don't, not the books, but what I look for in the trades: Marvel Team Up, Why the Last Man, Runaways. Geez, what else do I jump at when I'm trying to go through Ex Machina? I always read right away. I mean, only 2 trades so far, but what do I go crazy for? I'm sure I'm missing something that Well, there's my top 4. That's when it comes to my head right off the bat.
Shane has his list.
I have Infinite Crisis, JSA, JLA, X-Men, or Uncanny X-Men, I can't remember which one, and New Avengers. They're the top 5 that I jumped
I
to
put New
first.
Avengers in there. I guess I'm dying for that next trade
Yeah.
to come out.
Did you have a list?
Well, I have 3 so far. Batman, because I'm loving the stuff with the Red Hood. Superman, Batman, and Infinite Crisis are always... And JLA I would put in there, too. Those are the ones that as soon as I get, I go right to those to read first.
And Batman would be my 6th one on that list.
By the way, you still have to let me borrow that Red Hood.
You said the
Unmasked.
last time you didn't want to read it.
I have the issues.
Why?
Because
we
Never
told you
mind,
who
never
was
mind.
the-
Never
I
mind.
already forget what the spoiler was.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
It's not
That's
even the
from-
point of the story.
Yeah.
That's like...
Well, I wanna-
it
I
is.
wanna read it.
Okay, all right. All
I
right.
can load you the issues with the...
He doesn't.
I'd
like
rather read the
issues.
trades.
Oh.
I won't be so worried about like if my hand slips or something and I somehow damage a corner or something.
And then it'll be Peter's anyway. So
Oh, thanks. You know, the first thing at DCBS, when I get my shipment, the first thing I look at is previews.
Well, that's true too.
Oh,
Isn't it
yeah,
silly?
that's true.
You just got $150 worth of comics, and then the first thing I do is want to look
Yeah.
at what can I spend the next $150 on.
That's exactly
That is
what
true.
I do.
I make out the
Yep.
list right away.
Yep. I make
I don't-
out my list of everything I could possibly want, and then I
whittle
wheedle
it
it down
down,
from
yeah.
there. Yep.
I don't do the list, but I look through it. Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what's coming out? I look at previews. I look at Wizard.
I
I
get
look
that
at
monthly.
back issue. If a back issue comes with it, I look at that. And then I go into my comics, I think. And I think pretty much, I'm always reading like the Teen Titans, Infinite Crisis. But see, we get that weekly, so I can't really count that. I mean, we get that when that comes out.
Well, he just said top 5 things you read.
Well, I mean, but the way I get my books,
Yeah, well, I do too. I go
yeah.
to the store for Infinite Crisis,
I'm behind on my J's. I can't think of it.
and I still order 2 copies.
Yeah.
So that's my list. Previews, number 1.
That's funny. I didn't think of
It
that.
is
I
so
do the
sad.
same thing. I pull that right
I do
out.
it too. It's the most exciting.
Yeah.
It is.
It's so dumb.
I'll sit there as tired as tired can be with one eye open, looking through that,
Yeah.
just to get through it once that day. I get it.
By the way, I'm this close. For those of you at home who can't see me, I'm
It's a
holding
scosh.
my
It's a
fingers
skosh.
an inch.
Yeah, like a skosh.
I'm that close to going to twice a month shipping from DCB.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Well, when 52 comes out, I'm doing it.
I thought you were picking them up.
Yeah, but then I thought, well, I'll save. I will save. I will either break even or actually still come ahead by paying the extra $4, but the money I'll be saving
Right.
on 4 issues at 40% off. Even though we don't know what the cover price is yet, I'm assuming it'll be higher, and I'll actually still save money and then get my comics
See,
twice a month.
You're thinking too logically.
That's the
I'll
way I
still
think.
order my.
How long
my
have you
4
known him? How many games have we played together with him?
My 4 issues a month, but I will still go to the store
Oh, I
every
will
week to
too.
get it.
You and me both. And although we're both going, we'll each get an issue.
That's right.
Suckers.
See, that's why I said I don't need to have 104 copies of that book, at the end of the year. It's like, no, 52 is enough.
Now, you know what? I would do that so that way when everything's done, I could sell everything on eBay.
Yeah, but so
like
will 300, 400 other people.
Well, you don't do it right away. Yeah. You wait a little.
Now, see, I'll take my reader. Like right now, I started taking all of the ones that I get, like Infinite Crisis that I get at the store, and I keep them separate so that when the kids get older, that's the ones they read.
Yeah.
That's a good excuse. I always said that when my parents wanted to get rid of some of my stuff when I was growing up. Now my kids will play with it. I have no intention of having kids.
Yeah.
Do we want to go into our top 5 since he kind of segued into...
Yeah, that was good, Mike.
My name's Peter. I know what you're saying.
Son of a bitch.
I've had Mountain Dew and suddenly I'm jittering.
What the hell's wrong with
Jesus. We want to do top 5 vehicles. Top 5 vehicles. Who's first?
I'll go first.
Go.
Batmobile, Quinjet, Blackbird, Fantastic Car, and Robin's Redbird.
So talk about why you picked them.
Batmobile, because I think that is the coolest car in the world.
Which Batmobile?
I go with the 70s one that looks like the Corvette. More like a Corvette, a swooping front hood,
kind of like the one that's been around 70s and early 80s?
Yeah. And then I do like...
Or on the Super Friends?
Yeah, like the Superpowers one?
That's an 80s one. There was a 90... did I say 80s?
You said 70s.
70s. Well, the late 70s, early 80s. It's different than the Superpowers one. There was one that had a rounded hood and a little bit of a spoiler off the back that had a wider front with a very low to the ground front grille with pop-up headlights. That really does look like a Corvette to me.
Okay, I think is that the one that they did like the Matchbox car?
Yeah.
Pretty much sometimes, most of the times.
I also would pick into that. There's a 90s one that they did a really nice Corgi car of, and it's not the real exaggerated wing one. It's got like...
It's when it gets blown up in Knight's End.
Yeah.
You sport no. Is that the Norm Brave Fogel, or is that before Norm Brave? Remember Norm Brave Fogels had the crazy fins, and it was like, especially like the Batman movie had the big fins.
Yeah, I want to say it's after that.
Okay.
Because the fin ones, of course, came right from '89's movie. The Quinjet.
The Avengers.
I think it's a cool Avengers vehicle. Same with the Blackbird.
They have 10,000 of them,
yeah,
approximately.
No matter how many times it gets blown up or destroyed, there's another one right there ready. Yeah. The Blackbird, I think it's cool that it comes out of the basketball court. That even in the portrayal in the movie, I think it was cool that...
The X-Men's Blackbird.
Yeah, the X-Men's, that nobody could find it, nobody could track it. They had jets following it, but it still had all these defensive capabilities to get away. It was just so hard to detect. I just think that's a neat vehicle for a school to have. The Fantastic Car, the fact that it breaks apart, comes together.
The one that looks like a tub?
I actually like the 4 pieces that look more like a T. And the Redbird, I think it's cool for any 16-year-old sidekick to get or 15-year-old. He got that when he was 15. 15-year-old sidekick to have his own sports car, even though he got rid of it.
Do you know why he got it when he was 15?
Yeah, to help. It was to drive his father around.
Because he was handicapped.
Yeah, now, I'm going to say one. I'm surprised it's not on there. Maybe you're not thinking of it. The Bug.
You're right. I didn't think of the Bug. Yeah,
Blue Beetle's Bug.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that.
So who would that kick off?
That would kick off the Quinjet, probably. That would kick off the either the Quinjet or the Blackbird, because they're kind of similar to me. That would probably.
I was surprised that was, because that was on my list and then I crossed it off.
Now not everybody knows, but I was on a mini vacation with my wife, and we did a lot of like coupley things, and I didn't talk a whole lot about comics. And we're racing home so I can get home, unpack the car, and get here to do the show. And my in-laws were at the house because they had the kids all weekend, and it was total confusion. So I didn't sit down to think of this really like I wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally forgot about the Bug.
Excuse.
It's
every geek has to have their top 5.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Just roll off the tongue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Go.
All right. I got
Mr. Roly-Poly.
I like to do these in descending order, so I have here Blackbird as number 5.
Okay.
Just because I think it's a nice piece of equipment. 4 would have to go with...
That's a nice piece of equipment.
Well, it's a nice jet. It was cool in the movie. And then the cartoon.
That's a nice package.
It looked like the comics version.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was kind of cool.
Well, in the comics originally, it was just an SR-71 Blackbird, so it was an actual plane,
Right.
which actually made sense.
Well, now it has the Shi'ar technology.
Right.
Yeah, it's been
got-
modified.
it's got like the
Souped up.
when it gets to the nose, it kind of goes out and then comes in, and all the wing. Yeah, it
Well,
looks
that's
cool.
how Blackbird.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Number 4 would have to be the Supermobile from the Superpowers series. I remember playing with that as a kid, so I had to make the list.
The one with the hands
Yeah.
that could come out and grab.
Yeah. If you're powerless, you got to go something. Number 3, I'd have to go with Javelin 7 from the Justice League. Not the one that's in Justice League Unlimited, but the original one that looks like Darth Maul's
Oh yeah, Darth
ship.
Vault's. Yeah.
Number 2 would be the Mooncopter, specifically the one from the Mark Spector series that was kind of it was actual crescent shaped and it was almost like a Batwing type of thing from the first Batman movie. And number 1, of course, the Batmobile. Specifically, I'm really putting a favor towards the Tumbler right now. Having seen Batman Begins and that chase sequence, I just think that's the way I like to see the Batmobile. It doesn't have to be sleek to me anymore. It has to be more
Functional.
Yeah, more functional,
Urban.
ready, and that just seems exactly the way to go.
I really have to say that the way they portrayed that in the movie really did impress me. I thought that was the ugliest piece of shit I saw when it first premiered. That one picture, I thought that was going to be horrible, but they really proved me wrong.
Yeah, when I got to that, it was the same thing for me. I think it was the same thing for everybody. They were like, "What the hell is that?"
I
thing?"
liked it right from the
Oh,
get-go.
did you?
Yeah.
And then you got to it, and it was like, "Oh."
Especially when he goes silent and just
What
right
was
back
all
into
the
traffic.
What was all the shifting of the driver down? Like
That was to put him in a vantage point for where the rocket launcher is. Something he would
Yeah,
go
but he
down
could
and
also
connect.
drive through that. If you remember when he was,
Well, yeah, but that was in like
weaving in
assault
between.
mode. He was down there in it, and I don't
Maybe he's
know.
more protected underneath more armor or something. I don't know.
maybe
and it,
But it looks cool on
Yeah,
film,
I
so
don't
that's how
know.
they do it.
because then Gordon did it too, and I was like,
Yeah,
well, I guess that
was
was
specifically when
for
he was
their
firing
launcher. Yeah,
the
that's
rockets. But he was driving like that in assault mode as well.
That's the way I think in the future car should be, with all the computer system in there. Not specifically like the Tumbler, but should be similar to Kit or Batmobile, where you have computer system in there. Maybe a TV type of thing, but that's the way cars should be.
Where do
I'll
you
take
been?
Kit
They
with
have
what's.
TVs in cars
I'll take
now.
Kit with what's his name's voice doing.
Michael.
Yeah.
Do you have 5? Or do you want me to
I
go?
have 3.
All right, I'll go.
But I couldn't. Well, no, I don't
Oh.
think I can think of 5.
All right.
We just
I mean,
gave you some.
I've heard many listed, but none of them are especially cool to me. That's why I only have 3 down. And they're kind of in no particular order. I put the Batmobile, like kind of all iterations just rolled into one, just because it always has a million fancy gadgets. It always looks cool, and so that by definition makes it cool.
I wonder if that's the first first well-known superhero vehicle.
I'd have to say so.
I think so, because that came out in the 40s. It was in Batman number 1.
Yeah, no.
Third-
Yeah.
But I wonder when it was
30,
actually called the
39?
Batmobile. Was it? You read those early issues. Did they call it the Batmobile?
I don't think he
believe
called
so.
it a Batmobile. He just drove around in the car.
And it wasn't even like a bat shaped. It wasn't just like
It
a
was
red
just like
car.
a regular car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, he got the one with the.
I think
the
it was
fat
in
the
head
middle.
on it.
Wasn't that in
Yeah.
Batman number 1? Because that also introduced
I can't remember.
Could be.
Robin.
Joker and
Robin.
Catwoman. No,
Robin
was in Detective.
Detective
Oh,
something.
okay. Sorry. And if you stretch the comic world to include G.I. Joe, I'm going. I'm going the Hiss Tank.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, but when I was a kid, man, that toy was one of my favorites. So I don't know if that's cheating or not, but I'm including the Hiss Tank on my list.
Which one? Who?
It's a Cobra
Hiss
tank
tank.
that is kind of sloped, and it's got the tread kind of goes in a triangle shape kind of thing. It was
Is that
very
one that
cool.
had the thing in the back too?
It had a turret in the back,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because couldn't that also launch something out of it? Wasn't that turret also able to be a secondary vehicle that would hover?
Oh, I think you're. Well, that
What
might have
was
been a variation of the Hiss Tank later on. I can't remember.
Say that again?
Wasn't that the tank that the turret actually could come out from the back and hover as like a secondary
Come on,
vehicle?
Mr. G.I. Joe man.
I don't necessarily remember that.
It was black with the red like trim to it.
I remember Trouble Bubble and the claw, which was the wing thing, the rocket pack, but I don't remember the turret.
I'll have to
coming out
watch
like
the
that.
movie again. I think it's
I have the toy upstairs in the attic somewhere.
I had a Sears catalog Hiss Tank that was all red, much like the Crimson one is that
Right.
came out just a couple years ago. And it had G.I. Joe had that tri-missile launcher that they repainted black and red missiles for the his tank, and it hooked on back, and it came in this non-colored black and white box. And for the longest time, I could not find any reference of this thing ever. And finally, on one G.I. Joe site, I found it, so I wasn't going crazy because I had given mine away to my one boss's kids. But yeah, I had a totally red crimson version of that, which I loved to death.
Yeah. And then the one that I think is probably just the coolest is the helicarrier, if you include that as a vehicle.
See, since I use that for bases...
Well, I had it on bases too, but that's the damned coolest thing. And then I guess, by extension, you could also do the Authority, which to me is basically...
The carrier.
The carrier, which is, more or less the same thing as the helicarrier. I mean, even though it's supposed to be sentient and all that stuff, and there's a lot of Authority fans screaming at me right now, but I put the helicarrier above that because I think of them as one and the same, basically.
You could also, it's been in, if you want to go the G.I. Joe route...
could do Star Wars.
You could do Transformers.
No, the Yamato, the Argo.
Oh, God. What is cooler than that?
I know.
There is nothing.
What about the Voltron?
Well,
those cats were pretty cool.
Yeah,
the
but
cats were
that's
cool.
more a robot kind of thing.
The cats, not the...
All right. Here's my revised list, damn it, 'cause you guys are pissing me off. Batmobile, the Bug, mask vehicles. If we're going cartoon stuff, I'm going mask vehicles because that was cool.
Which one?
My favorite was Firecracker, the pickup truck that rose. But then you also had Gator, which shot out the boat. That was cool.
I had the little motorcycle that turned into a helicopter.
Condor.
That was cool.
Condor.
What
Driven
about
by...
Wasn't there a Camaro?
Yes, that was... Firefly. No, that was a Doom Buggy. Yeah. And then I'd have to say the Yamato because, damn it, that stuff's all just cooler than what I had.
No Transformers on
No
there?
GoBots?
GoBots suck, man.
Yeah.
That's pitiful.
It was the poor man's.
Did you finish your list?
I finished. I'll put the Yamato would be number one then.
That would definitely
I still
be
have
on
a
there.
fifth. It's open, but
slot.
you could sneak into Millennium Falcon in there.
Mine, no particular order. The Blackbird, of course, just because it's kind of cool.
See, I think
It's a nice piece of
the
machinery.
reason.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I think the reason that the Blackbird didn't impress me as much is because I didn't realize, I wasn't reading X-Men that long to know about the Blackbird before because in early high school, I was all into like all the military planes and everything, so I knew what a Blackbird was, and so I thought, oh, it's just an SR-71, big stinking deal, it's just a regular plane. So it never was a comic booky thing to me; it was a real life thing. That's why that never.
I mean, for me, it's like almost like, when you saw True Lies, that one jet
Harrier.
Yeah, the helicarrier.
like I didn't know anything about it, but it could take off and vertical landing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going the opposite way. So that's kind of what the Blackbird is for me. This one is really obscure. The helicopter called Sheba from the Suicide Squad was this black helicopter that there was something about it. Like whenever they were in trouble, it would come out of nowhere and just kill the villains or whatever, and it just looked cool and it was kind of fun. So I remember at that time thinking,
jeez, earthquake.
Thinking that was really neat, and it kind of just stuck with me through the years. The Legion, I believe they called it the Cruiser, when they got their silver metallic headquarters. It was the main Legion ship at that time. If you're a Legion fan, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's a silver thing. It almost looks like, I guess you could say, kind of similar to the Enterprise if it was upside down and not so, the things to the nacelles that are really skinny.
Supports.
If you spread them out more, make it more full, make the ship more full, kind of similar to that. It just, as a future ship, it just was cool to me. I'm also going to put down Brainiac's ship, the big skull thing with the tentacles.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Loved that. When I first saw the design of that, I was like, whoa, look at that. And then they brought it back post-Crisis and made it look even scarier. So I have to put that down. And the one that I just wish I could have is Hawkeye's Sky Cycle. Anybody remember that thing?
No.
It has a big windshield in the front, and you could take off vertically, and you kind of ride it like a water cycle, like a
jet ski.
Jet ski, thank you.
Water cycle.
Whatever. This is my knowledge of tech and vehicles. But that thing was cool. In the 80s miniseries, he had one of those. And I was like, oh, man, I want one of those.
Wasn't that clear, too?
It was... I think it was like... The windshield was clear, obviously. But it was like white or silver or whatever. But, God, that thing was... I mean, when I used to draw superheroes when I was a kid, I swear every other superhero had one of those things. I wanted one of those, so...
I still can't believe I forgot the bug. I feel so stupid. God.
Well, because, see, I thought
You imbecile.
I know.
I thought of Night Owl's ship in Watchmen.
That's a good one, too.
And then I went, well, if you're going to pick that, you got
Might
to
as
go
well say
with
the
the
bug.
bug. Yeah.
God.
So.
You disappoint me.
Just out of practice. I just wasn't with it.
Well, your
all the
excuse
time.
could be that he's dead, so you don't think about it.
Oh, stop it. That'd be interesting to see if the new Blue Beetle has a bug.
He will. Yeah, but
By the way, somebody pointed out on the forum that the kid in Animal Man was, or no,
Kid in Animal
the
Man.
kid is Jaime, not Jamie. So I didn't go look at my copy of Animal Man to verify that, but I'll take their word for it.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected, and you know,
Jaime.
yeah, maybe they will go back and make that kid be the.
That would be
Beetle.
fun.
Well, Jamie of Earth 2
He spelled J-A.
Yeah.
J-A. How is Jamie of Earth 1?
Jamie.
He's J-A-I-M-E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And also that Blue Beetle redesign, when they did Kingdom Come, and then they did the sequel, just the Kingdom event, when Alex Ross, he was originally supposed to do that sequel, he did some designs, and there was a Blue Beetle design that kind of is like what we're seeing now. I mean, different from what Ted Kord wore in Kingdom Come. It was, it kind of had the little arms coming up and some of the design aspects in the chest and the sides and the legs. So I'll have to look for that image and post it up, because when I saw it, I went, oh, look at that.
I'll have to find that.
Yeah.
I'm still excited for that book. Still looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too.
So we should be doing off the rack.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Who's going first?
I'll go start. I'll go first.
Side of the room.
I finally read Gravity. Got the digest, and I figure that's definitely one I should talk about. And it's difficult to try to separate your bias towards my bias towards Mike Norton, because he's been such a fan, such a supporter of the show, and what I read in the book. But I think if I can try my best, I really, really enjoyed Gravity. 100% straight through. It was just a fun, simple, and I don't mean simple as in, but just easy to understand, easy to follow, great superhero story. Like, it's really what I look for, what I've been looking for so long, because I get... I love the fact that these characters have all this continuity, and it's fun to be a part of something that's been around for 30 or 40 or 80 or 70 years or whatever. But at the same time, it gets cumbersome and it gets tiring to try to remember everything. And then you read something, and you're like, I don't remember what this was about. But with Gravity, you're starting over. It's a brand new character. The plot line is not all convoluted and crazy. It's easy to follow. Mike's art is fantastic, as always. I mean, the guy really, really knocks it out of the park. I just had a blast with it. And I hope to God that we get another Gravity, at least a miniseries, this year or next year or something. I really hope so.
Out of that same team.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see more.
Well, hasn't he said that he likes not only his designs to be simplistic, but also, like, his characters? Like it would make sense to me that would be a good, simple, easy to follow story, not like you said, not like simplistic, accessible. Yeah. That it's just bare bones. This is the origin. There you have it. It's all there, black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we get in this discussion. There's so many new writers who want to come in and take an existing character and do something that's never been done before, or we're going to get to the roots of this character and it's like, can we just write a story?
I'll tell you what, this will come up later in a book of the month, but I was kind of thinking one of the things that makes like Superman, Batman memorable to me as characters is their origins are so simple. You don't have to every couple of years, we're going to add this other feature where the same night Batman's parents died, this villain that he's going to meet down the line was also great. Just keep it. Don't fuck up the wheel. It was already invented. You don't have to keep adding a new thing to
A new spoke.
a new spoke. Exactly.
Well, spokes are fine, but just a new shape.
It just irritates the hell out of me where you can't. It is what it is. It's worked for all these years. Don't try to put a completely new swing on it that you're like, you know what, you took it too far now.
Yeah, they on the forum the one time they were talking about which Superman origin was the best, and I wrote down the first page and a quarter of All-Star Superman 1, where it was literally like 6 captions long, with 2 or 3 words in each caption. Doomed planet, last survivor, kindly couple, Superman. I mean, or it may have been something else in the middle of that. And I was like, that's, if you really want to tell a person on the street what's Superman's origin, that's all you have to say. His planet exploded, he came to Earth, he met a couple that raised him right, and he became Superman.
But do you think that's your favorite origin because you know the rest of the back history of his origin?
I don't think it's, maybe I should rephrase, I don't think it's my favorite. I think as far as what Matt's talking about, as simple
storytelling.
as how can you get to the root of if you really want to get to the root of an origin, do you need 12 issues of an origin, or can you just say, this is what a hero is? This is what Batman is, that simple. Wonder Woman was made from clay, gift from the gods, and she became Wonder Woman. Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider. His Uncle Ben died and became a hero. You know what I mean?
Well, kind of going on with that, one of the things with the Ezekiel character they created in Amazing Spider-Man, which kind of gave you this whole kind of like a legacy of the Spider-Man type of thing. That I didn't like because now you're adding a completely new factor into Spider-Man where, there were all these previous Spider-Men and now science kind of just interfered, and now Peter Parker's kind of in that lineage as well. Yeah. And to me, it was there was no other Spider guys before Peter Parker. It was just science, just a thing that happened that made him unique. Well, now all of a sudden he's not that unique. Now it's this lineage that science just happened to play a factor in, and that to me just made a simple origin way too complex. Put way too much into it. They should just kept it the way it was and moved on.
Like I like when Marvel Comics used to do their paragraphs before, like on each page.
New Avengers does that a little bit, yeah.
Like I like that.
I think so.
That is simple. As a new reader can come in and read that, and that's it. Now, I'm not saying I don't want fleshed out tales of origin stories and stuff like that. I liked Superman Birthright. I liked Man of Steel. I liked Batman Year One. But when it comes to writers adding new things, and to go back to the gravity thing, there is a way to tell a story like that. And I think there's a place for that. And I think sometimes new writers don't want to do that because they think that's too simple. But I think that I think that's
it's nice.
Yeah,
it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And just like Eric Larson said, there he is a relatively new guy on the block as far as mainstream stuff, and he's already done his own character. He's already left his mark in his own way. Something unique that he's helped create.
And this book was really cool because it ties nicely in with the Marvel Universe, because you get this guy who decides he's going to be a hero, and along the way, of course, he bumps into a few other heroes in the Marvel Universe, because in New York City, it's almost impossible to go 10 feet without tripping over a hero or a villain or something. But they didn't overdo it with the main characters, because this book is about gravity. And it really tied nicely. If you're a new reader for the first time, never read a Marvel comic in your life, you get to meet a few characters, at least fleetingly, and you get an idea for what New York City and the Marvel Universe is like. And it was really, really well done. I mean, everything that I've read from Sean McKeever so far, I have liked. So I think he's just keeping up his track record of being a solid writer who tells nice, good stories. And then, like, Mike Norton's artwork is fantastic. I hope to God, especially seeing some of the stuff he's posted on the forum, I hope to God he gets a regular Marvel title. I want to see a monthly mainstream Marvel comic from Mike Norton. And, until it's Gravity, I want to see whatever else it is,
And I feel that after that, I want him to do a DC one, because he is a DC fan, especially Blue Beetle, although Ted Kord's gone. But I would like to see him eventually tackle both in some fashion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We could do like an Untold Tales of...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's
Untold Tales of Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Anybody else got?
I read Catwoman 50, the one with Zatanna on
Don't
the cover.
spoil it. I haven't read it.
Just that Zatanna was
Yeah,
on the cover.
yeah.
Very good. I thought it was interesting, fun, tied into current things that are happening, and gives Catwoman some stuff to think about. Really, and it's, if you sit and think about it, it wouldn't be hard to figure out what she does, but it's interesting. And I know just by solicitations, I think I know what Catwoman may do, and I'm curious to see how they play that out, because it really throws her character into a tailspin for a little bit.
Have you been reading Catwoman for a while?
I have almost every single issue,
Really?
but I have not been.
Okay.
Not
been reading it, though.
Not steadily. I just haven't gotten around to it. But this one, because Zatanna was in it, I wanted to do it, so I read it.
I'll tell you what, that was a hard one to find because I actually stopped at, I think, 3 comic shops in 3 different areas before I was able to find that issue.
Ever since she did that, where Catwoman was visiting cities and she went to Opal City. That's where I started picking it up, and then I went and got some of the back issues. I went back and got Selina's Big Score, the hardcover, I think at one of the cons last year. So I'm slowly trying to wheedle down to every issue of that, but I have the bulk of it.
Well, then from her old series to this one, didn't she fake her death that everyone thought?
Yeah.
Okay, because everyone knew that Selina Kyle and Catwoman were the same, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That big score is supposed to be really good.
That's exactly what I heard. Isn't it? No, it's Gotham Central. No, didn't Brubaker
I
do
think
the
it's
beginning of Catwoman?
Brubaker and Darwin Cook, I think.
Did the beginning of first year or two of Catwoman. I can't remember.
I think they did that. Darwin Cook's on the big, what is it?
Selina's Big Score.
Yeah, I think he's on that one.
Yeah.
And maybe even
I think you're right. Because that tied right into the series beginning. But that's the one I read. It's a great issue. I would recommend, if you're not a Catwoman reader, to definitely go out and get this issue, just because if you've read Hush and you see how Catwoman has grown, this issue would interest you.
Oh, so you think I should read Hush before?
No, not necessarily. If you know what Catwoman does these days, I think you should read this issue.
Okay.
You haven't read Hush yet?
No.
Really?
Wow.
I read the first issue.
Wow.
God, every time I pick up that damn book, I end up reading the whole thing.
I'll tell you, it's not really till he goes to Metropolis that I think it really picks up. Once you get there, then you're not have problems putting it down.
Oh, see, now that I can read that cover to cover every time. And
Yeah.
I love every issue of it.
When it was coming out, it was. I think it was at a time when I was cutting back, and I was like, do I really want this?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you cut
and
back on Batman for that.
Yep. And I even said, I know this is going to be big. It's Jim Lee. I saw the first issue, and dummy me, I should have picked it up. But no,
because
have
now you got the nice hardbacks.
Well, right, I have but I could have sold those issues.
I did.
I did.
I had 2 copies of it, and I sold one to pay for the other, and the first 2 hardback volumes. Then I sold the hardback volumes to pay for the absolute version.
So it might be interesting to see what I think of the big, the big oversized artwork, and now that the hype is done, I'm looking forward to it.
Because she even played a part in War Games too.
Yeah,
Catwoman.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I definitely think you should read Catwoman 50.
We haven't been giving out any freaking swears.
Were we done with Over the Rack?
No.
Gravity. I'm going to give it 5 because it accomplished what it set out to accomplish. Will it go down as history as one of the greatest comic books ever written? No. But it does exactly what they wanted to do, and I enjoyed it.
Mike Norton is screaming at his iPod right now.
No, you know what I mean.
know,
There's
I
a
know.
difference.
Yeah.
Something can be
Sure.
5 stars without being, the year's
Watchmen
greatest comic
or
book.
Dark
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
What about Catwoman 50?
Catwoman 50? I give it a 4 for its relevancy to today's time and my enjoyment of Catwoman these days, and my curiosity of what's going to happen. 4.5, definitely.
You have it off the rack?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm continuing with the Spider-Man the Other, but you guys aren't reading that right now. But I'm gonna have to go with I got the back issues of the Nightwing, pretty much the Born Again storyline that was done with him.
Right. Born Again Light.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the things I keep reading through there is it seems. Now, I didn't read a lot of the Nightwing series, but it seems like everybody knows who Dick Grayson is in this series, and it irritates me because if you know who Dick Grayson is, you mean to tell me these people have no idea that Bruce Wayne is Batman? It's hard to make that leap. I don't think you have to be a a genius, or a detective to figure that out.
About that, they might not, because a lot of people don't make the leap that he was Robin unless he announces it. Like maybe Commissioner Gordon knows or something like that, but not a lot of people know he was Robin.
Well, it seems as though there's even a couple villains that he's faced that even reference him as Robin.
It could be, but
it just seems, or even if you know that Dick Grayson, where he came from,
now that
he was a ward of Bruce Wayne. Now he's legally adopted. You mean sometime in his life, while his son, he goes, you know what, I'm going to be a crime fighter. He's got to learn that somewhere. He can't.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm not overly fond of it. It just seems like it's missing something. I don't know how big it was hyped up when it was coming out.
Is that the one with Tarantula and
the
new female Tarantula?
Yeah.
I don't think it's been hyped
By
all
Devin
that
Grayson.
much.
It wasn't liked. It wasn't liked by many people.
I gotta tell you, I know that she loves that character, but I don't think she does Nightwing justice. When I read some of the earlier issues by Dixon, and I really got into those, and these kind of are just, even with like the current stuff that she's doing, just completely turns me off from the character. I think she's taken him way off from where he should be.
And that again might have relevancy after Infinite Crisis and stuff too.
Plus, she's not writing it anymore after.
Bruce, really?
Bruce Jones is taking over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Frying pan into the toilet.
That
It's hard to get past the Chuck Dixon stuff. That era was so good for me for Nightwing.
not a lot. I mean, the message boards were not too thrilled with Devin Grayson's run.
Well, and now I'm assuming you read every issue of his series. Was that something that was kind of the next logical step for him?
No, I stopped reading 3 issues into that run.
Okay.
Devin Grayson's run. Yeah, I stopped. I wasn't. For me, Chuck Dixon, his stories were so awesome with Scott McDaniel on the artwork, and then when he left, the art shifted so much. I think even Greg Land was doing it for a while. I think, and Rick Leonardi, and it just was so different from Scott McDaniel. I kind of went, and I'm not the biggest Chuck Dixon fan either. So that their team worked, their collaboration worked, and then when one of that part of that team left, I was kind of like, and then I got 3 issues into that Devin Grayson run, and I went, no, bye, sorry, my favorite character, I'm not reading it. Because I think she works better in smaller stories or miniseries, because she did a great. Her first story between Dick Grayson and Donna Troy was great, was wonderful. It was this just solo issue in solo story in Batman Chronicles, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And I liked her JLA Titans, co-written with Phil Jimenez. But as far as that run goes, and like same thing with when her on the Titans, there were 1 or 2 good issues, but the overall story was not.
It kind of seems as though they're taking him. She's kind of taking him to this really dark place. But if you know the character as well, just from the earlier half of his series, you know that he's not the type of person. It just seems like this really, from this point on, really brought him down to this point where.
Well, in her defense, I think some of that's editorial. I think she had to do some of that with part of the overall DC story.
So, I mean, even earlier back then, with what happens in this series?
With the storyline you're talking about?
Yeah.
Probably not, no.
Because that really kind of kicks things off.
How long ago did that start?
It's like 88, 89 is where it started.
No, I mean, like, how far did her...
It's like 70s.
Yeah, she started around 72, I think, because I was looking through some of the back issues.
Yeah, and they're up to like
117.
117
Yeah,
now,
that's a little bit too far back.
115. 116 is coming up soon.
So, okay, for that storyline, no. I thought you meant the current storyline.
No, but it does kind of seem like there's a progression that, because of what's happening now, is kind of a result of what happened then.
Before.
I've definitely gone up and down with her run. I've continued to read all those. I'm a little bit behind right now, a couple, 4 or 5 issues, but I've continued to read them past what you stopped at, Peter, and I've been very up and down with what it is.
Because she didn't write the Nightwing Year One, correct?
No.
And that I thought was a great issue. I mean, I was looking for more of that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you come into this new where he is now. I'm just kind of, this is crap. What happened to? I know there were Year One stories, but come on, that's what I was enjoying.
No, that one was that's Dixon and Beatty.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
that's right.
And Scott McDaniel.
Yep.
So how many freaking spears?
I'd have to say 2.5, 3.
Oh, ouch. My off the rack. I'm going to go back to and spotlight some issues that Desperado sent us. A Common Foe 1 through 3 by Keith Giffen and Shannon Denton. I don't know if this is a series or a miniseries. I'm hoping it's a miniseries. Because the story that it's about, I don't know how long they can go with it. I don't know. It takes place in World War II between the Americans and the Germans. They're in a city. I forget what city it is, and they're fighting, and it's a small battle with a small group on each side. And all of a sudden, this hell pit opens up, and there's these creatures and vampires. That's basically, and they have to, hence the title, they have to join together to attack a common enemy. So that's why it's called Common Foe. So, how much farther can that story go? Do you learn about the creatures? Do you learn about the characters? I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I had a little things with the art by Jean-Jacques Ziolowski or Ziabowski or something like that. Because it was hard to tell who the characters were in each group. You couldn't tell the Americans apart. You couldn't tell the Germans apart. They tried to label them. But you know how Keith Giffen does his dialogue, people talking over people, and unless they're each colored differently so you know who it is, that was kind of hard for me. So then I was thinking of, all right, is this just going to go kind of like Aliens versus Predator? Is the backstory, not even worth it, and what's really worth where you're going is the conflict. Is all it is that all we're going to have? This awesome battle, this that they have to group up and kill these creatures. Is it like that? I'm not saying that Aliens versus Predator was a great movie, but it's just a simple concept, So I was like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to. After 3 issues, I was still not sure what I was supposed to latch on to. And they would go back. They'd have a battle, and then you go flashback how these people how they got to the city, or what they were going to do in the city, how the hell pit opened up. But I was left a little. I was like, okay, and that was already 3 issues into it. So that's the thing. I don't know if it's 4, 5, 6 ongoing. It's kind of very expressive in its art. Say that 10 times. It's not clear, it's really just his art style, and you got to either like it or you got to just kind of pace through it. And it was for me, it was kind of like I wish it was a little clearer. So I gave it kind of like it's like a 3, and that's being generous, I think. 3 freaking screws out of 5. Would I read it to finish it? Maybe if something happened in issue 4 and it was 6 issues. But if it didn't, I still had 2 more issues to go, I probably wouldn't finish.
What if it's ongoing?
If it's ongoing, wow. I don't know how they could make it ongoing.
Well, let me ask you something like that, because I know Kevin and I again were discussing the upcoming Moon Knight series, and we expressed some concerns with some of the things that are coming up with it, and we both decided that you can't judge it by the first issue. You have to pretty much go to the first storyline, which is going to be 6 issues. Something like this. How long do you think you have to read before you decide whether or not you like it? Is it the first storyline? Is it the first couple of issues?
Well, I think 3 issues is more than enough.
Especially if it does turn out to be a miniseries.
For this kind of story, because I'm coming in as a fan of Keith Giffen, and interested sort of in what they could do with this story. And the packaging is great. It's not that I think the artwork's bad, it's just not what I particularly like. But I know there are people out there who pick it up and go, I love this story. I know there is, But for me, I guess I needed to... This was the one time I needed the author to kind of give me a little more. Give me just a little more of what I'm supposed to do. Because the Americans, they're not particularly that nice. It's not like you're really rooting for them. You're certainly not going to root for the Germans, right? Not in this context. So who are you going to root for? The creatures? But it's not built that way either. It's not built for you to... So there's the connection between the Germans and the Americans hasn't happened yet in 3 issues. That's why I wonder where it's going to go.
Well, is that a general rule that you use, that after the first 3 issues of anything, you pretty much just pull out, or...
Each is different. Mm-hmm. Each title has to be different, I think.
I think it also depends for me on what art and creative team is doing it.
Right.
You know, what overall team is doing it, art, writing, everything, as to how far I'll give it. Because, like so many others, I'll give All-Star Batman and Robin almost the whole thing just because I like Jim Lee's art. But a miniseries, 6 issues, if I don't like it by the 3rd, I probably wouldn't pick up the other 3.
Because look at, when we discussed House of M, before that really started to hanker down on the meat and bones rather than just kind of the filler. How many issues did that take? So
but that might have been different because we were all reading that
together
all at one. Yeah.
But I mean, look at X-Men Deadly Genesis. I've read issue 2, and I'm still not sure if the story. I'm still not sure. I understand where it's going to go, but I'm surprised that it still is kind of not
forming.
Yeah.
I haven't read issue 2 yet.
Because, if you look at some storylines, if it's 6 issues, unless you have all 6, then you can go, you know what, this was a pretty good storyline. But if you're only giving it 3 issues, you're not going to get the story, enough of the story you don't have the entire story, so you're not going to see how everything's relevant, and you're not going to...
but, I know Mike Norton actually talked about this on one of his Crankcasts, and this is probably different for you, Brian, as a trade reader, He said that... Wait, was it him? Where did I hear this? Or was it... it was somebody was talking about it on one of the podcasts. That each story still has to have a beginning, middle, and an end. If you're selling a monthly title, I don't care if you're stretching out Spider-Man's origin for 12 issues until he wears a suit. I don't care. Each issue still has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end to hook me as a reader. I'm not talking, this is how I think comics should be, for me personally. So I'll go right with you for 12 issues of that if each issue feels like I read something as a monthly reader. And this Common Foe has some decent cliffhangers, and there is some story value to it. I wonder if it would have worked better as a 96-page graphic novel. Is that something Desperado Publishing can do? I don't know. Is that something that Keith Giffen has the luxury to do because he's a pretty popular creator? Maybe he's not hurting money-wise or whatever, or this is a project that he was able to do for low whatever, I don't know. So maybe he said, sure, let's do it in a miniseries. We can do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know people are going to like it. But what do you think about it? What do you give a series? Like how many? Because you read trade. So do you read a trade? And what does it take for you to drop a series?
I don't really... I mean, when I'm reading trades and when I'm reading books, I don't really judge it until it's over.
Do you think that's because you
I think because I've read so many novels, and a lot of novels are slow getting started, but by the end it can be one of the best books you ever read. Because at the end you're left only remembering the end, and you forget that it was dry in parts or whatever.
But that's a different beast because it's not coming out monthly.
But as a trade reader, it's almost the same as reading a novel. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh no, I understand.
And when I was reading monthlies, you're quicker to make a judgment because it's $3 on the line each month or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know. It's been so long. Each title kind of has a different thing. I mean, if there's a character you love, you want to give it more of a chance, because you hope that it's good because it's your favorite character or whatever. If it's something you just were curious about, sometimes you'll go one issue and go, I tried the number 1. I don't care,
I mean, I did that, to go back to Nightwing. It took me 3 issues of Devin Grayson for my favorite character to go.
And that's
whoops.
why I was saying with the 3 issues, because you said that for that.
I think
just kind of a standard thing.
That was just...
by this point, if I'm not getting it, I don't see what's going on. Because I know, I like Evil Dead movies, Army of Darkness, and they released those 2 miniseries, collected those. Well, now it's an ongoing. I like them better as minis. I'm going to get the first storyline. I'm not sure how far it's taken. It's issue 3 or 4 right now. I'm not overly impressed, so I know I'm going to be dropping it.
Well, here's the other stupid thing. If I start getting a miniseries and I hate it, I have to get all of them so I can sell it on eBay.
Yeah, and I will do that too. A lot of times, I'll finish out the miniseries again because also it might give me something in the end.
Right.
If I start ordering something, and since we're ordering things 3 months ahead, very rarely do I not get the whole complete thing.
Yeah.
I may want to drop it, but I'm curious enough because I've already invested 3 months of ordering in it that I'll just keep doing it just to finish it.
Yeah, because by then you're already...
Yeah, I'm
By
already
the time you get
halfway there.
issue number 1, say this sucks, you're already getting the next couple.
Exactly.
Well, here's the other thing. I read. I finally caught up on Firestorm, and caught up meaning what issue is it up to? 18, 17, 19, something around there.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have, I read like the first 2, I think, first 2 or 3, and then if I would have read consistently month to month, I would have dropped that book a long time ago, because somewhere in 5, 6, 7, it kind of got.
It got slow.
It was choppy.
Yeah.
It was really choppy, and so now there's a book that I stuck with just because I wasn't reading it, and the first issue was so cheap, so I gave it a try, and
Sure.
then as soon as that's on your list, you got to keep buying it because you're a collector, right? And then I looked back and realized and said, you know what, I would not have stuck with this. So.
But did you like later things
Yeah,
about that?
yeah. It has now kicked back to kind of what I was hoping for. But I mean, that's a good. Some people, the thing that Jamie talks about, where he says he drops a book, and then if he doesn't miss it, in 2 months, 3 months, he knows that's
Yeah.
it, it's done. But if he's like, I want that again.
And then for me, like Batman and Justice League were always my examples. They can be terrible as anything, and I'll still get them.
Yeah.
Just because, especially Justice League, even more so than Batman, just because of what my collection of Justice League means to me. Doesn't matter who's on it, how bad it is. I might not read it more than once, but I'll still get it.
Because I know, like for instance, I borrowed 24, the first season from Jamie, and if I wouldn't have borrowed it from him, if I would have had to wait each week to see the entire episode, the entire season, I don't know if I would have been interested to see the second season and the third season. I mean, that's one of the things, like with CSI, when I buy those, even though I watch the episodes, I pick up more because the commercials aren't there. I can watch back-to-back episodes, so any threads that are going through in the grand storyline, I can follow them a little bit easier than waiting from each week. So that's...
Yeah, I think we touched on it a lot. But I mean...
Not to get off on a tangent.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a good conversation. We certainly needed a topic for this. And so,
Don't give away our secrets.
but I mean, I do get... there is something in me that, when somebody says, well, just read it in trade, I just want to go, no, that's not the point. I'm sorry. Even Kirkman, when we saw him down at Baltimore, and when he ragged on Brian about the Walking Dead trades not having the separation, and that's something we both brought up, and not having the covers, and if you intended me to read this all together, then you should not have put it out as a monthly book. Why did you put it out as a monthly book? Obviously you want to drum up some interest, and you want to keep it out there constantly. But I'm sorry, you still got to write. Now, fortunately, I do feel Walking Dead does. It's every month you read it. I assume when I read those trades, I could tell each issue was worth it.
Yeah.
If I was reading that month to month, I would be there, and that probably would be a book I'd pick up, like at least in the top 5 books I would have read because it was so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But monthly issues are there. I mean, they're there for a reason. So,
Well, and right now with the way both universes, and I say Marvel and DC because that's the bulk of what I get.
sure.
I pick up most of the X-Men titles, and I pick up just about every DC superhero title, and I'm not willing to drop it just because they're both so cohesive right now. I won't drop a lot of the DC stuff until well into the year one later to see how that pans out. And yeah, it costs me more money, and I might not like everything, but I'm still enjoying the fact that I can get it all and enjoy it like this. I'm just not willing to get rid of any of it right now.
Right.
Well, and isn't that actually something that you and I talked about, Peter, once with the year one storylines, where you can't judge the drastic changes within the first 1 or 2 issues? You almost have to play out the entire year to see
The 1 year later stories? You mean?
Yeah, to see why you're at this, because you definitely have to wait till 52 comes out to understand why this year jump, they are where they are, and then to just go through the first year-long storyline. I'm assuming they're all year
But
long.
see, I know for me personally, I'm going to give them that chance because I'm such a DC nut.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who won't, and I respect that because they're coming in. Maybe this is the first time they're picking up a DC book, and they're going, "Okay, you got me for 6 issues, 5 issues. You better show me where this storyline's going." And you know what? They better, Because if this is like John was talking about in the last
It was
episode.
a big
John,
gamble, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big risk for them, and they could get a lot of new readers because I put my order in, and almost every 1 year later. No, I lied. Every 1 year later is on my list.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean that everybody else is doing that, or that they should do that. So they better hook them. For those people, they better not wait a year because people are going to be pissed.
Well, and
I don't blame them.
I give DC a little bit more leeway in that department, and I'll give X-Men a pretty good leeway now that I'm hooked into it a little bit, just because I do love the X-Men. But like in a year, if X-Men's nowhere, I'll get rid of it again.
Right.
And that's how I am with X-Men. If it's good, I'll get it. I'll give it 6 months to a year after that, which may be long for some people, but that's just how I am. And then I'll start wheedling down again.
See, there's something that's the beauty of the trades. You don't have to worry about these decisions. You just go, I know that storyline's good, or I want to read it, and it's done. And it's there for you.
Yeah.
So for that aspect.
Well, now, Peter, you going to collect every single issue for the next year of the 1 year later
God,
storyline?
I hope not.
Or are you only going to give it a first couple issues before you say, well...
Probably. I mean...
How long has Identity Crisis been out? That 18 months?
2 years? 3 months. Oh, what? Oh, Identity Crisis. It wrapped up in the end of November, end of 2004, I think.
2004, so yeah, it's been about 18 months. I've been getting every DC superhero book, pretty much every one since then. And I'm behind on some of it, and I'm caught up on others, but...
We got Daddy Warbucks sitting here with us.
yeah. More like wife get beating me.
It is hard, because I'm going through and I'm trying to decide which ones to read and which ones not. Now, some of them, I just, I don't really care. I mean, no offense, I like Nightwing, I like him in Outsiders, but I've never bought a Nightwing comic. I'm not going to start now, and Aquaman, same thing. I don't, whatever.
Well, and again, back then, I wasn't getting as much toys as I am now, which now is, again, it's now going down on that down flow again, just because of the way the toy industry is for me. So while it ebbed when the Muppet figures came out, so to speak, and kept going until right about now, the end of 2005, November, sort of now going downhill again, and it'll go like that, and then I'll be able to do more comics for a while.
I just don't know where I want to. So I said I'm going to get JSA. I'm going to try Blue Beetle, and I'll pick up a couple. But will I continue to read JSA monthly forever then? Or will I wait, till a year is over, and then will I just go back to trades? Because I have all the JSA trades. I got to keep having the trades because they look great on the bookshelf, and so it's like, and so I'll read them for a few months or 6 months or whatever, and then I'll go, okay, now I'm going to go back to the trades again because I'd like to own the trades. It's less about reading the books. I mean, obviously, I'm reading all the books. I don't mean that, but it's less about my desire to read them consistently as it is about my desire to own a bound book on my shelf, and so waiting for the trade is not like, you guys have to. It's delayed, and then you suck and you forget what happened. It's not. That's not why I'm reading the trades. It's
right.
And so I want, like JSA. I love JSA so much. I want to have the trade because it looks so nice on my shelf. But I'm not rich enough to double buy everything.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and then what do? You have the single issues. Do you buy the trade for those single issues and then sell them on eBay?
That's what I mean. You play that whole game. It's like, I'll sell them on eBay, but then you only make $6, but then the trade costs $12, but you already spent $18 on the issues, and you go, now I'm up to $24, or whatever. It's like, oh, God.
I would almost think you'd be better off, if you're going to try 1 year later, trying the stuff that you don't get. Like Aquaman, Sword of Atlantis, or Blue Beetle, and the stuff that you do collect in trades, you might as well stick with it, because what happens if you don't? It's weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm playing it's difficult for me. Like, I decided I would get Batman because it's James Robinson, Batman the Detective, and I don't buy the trades for those, so that's okay. I'll just try them, But I really love JSA, so I really want to read it as it's coming out. So I'm excited to do that. But at the same time, I know I'll be buying the trade because I have to have all of them.
Right. I think you should borrow one of our copies of that for that. I think Peter has.
I would think almost too, because it's Paul Levitt's for a while, and I mean, unless there's something about it that really ties into what's going on.
Yeah,
but again, you don't read, consistent current stuff. You're usually a month or two or more behind, so maybe that won't affect your reading of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to decide. It's tough.
I mean, especially with the Batman, that's coming out twice a month with Batman and Detective, so that's kind of worth it.
Right.
When I did that with Grant Morrison's JLA, I was buying the trades for those also because I was rereading those stories so much. I didn't want to destroy my issues that much. I read each issue probably twice and then started getting the trades. But I stopped after so long because I couldn't continue to do that for every single one, and plus they weren't worth it after a while.
Yeah, definitely.
They really weren't worth it.
I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm excited about the Alias Omnibus, because I know that even though it was monthly, he designs his storylines certain ways. So since I know that ahead of time, I know that when I get that big book, that's going to be great. Or same thing with the Daredevil. You know, you keep mentioning, and people on the forum, it's a great book, but where would I go into that? It's almost hard to go into that series because he had such a plan that, you know, stuff that's going on now kind of is coming from stuff he did earlier. So
absolutely,
I would rather read that. I know that reading that all in one sitting or as much as I can would probably be better. So it depends on depends on the comic. There's your short answer. It depends on the comic for the past 2 years.
Holy crap. Gonna keep you talking, Peter. And for this Stump the Rios, once again, Maxim Glory has sent in a video Stump the Rios and get that money ready.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Hi, this is Rick Gordon. You may know me as Maxim Glory on the forum. Today, we're going to do another video Stump the Rios. Have fun. No, sir. The problem has been taken care of. Nope. We nuked them. There's nothing left.
He just held up a...
Hold on a second. I got another call coming in. Fury out. Well, Mr. Rios, here we are again. I don't really have time to deal with you this month, so I'm going to hand you over to a friend of mine. You may know him. Oh, no. Lucas Cage. Hero for hire.
A shield jacket.
Oh. Peter Rios. Some cat named Fury hired me to stump you. So I'm gonna stump you. You better make sure you get these 3 questions or you're not gonna have a sweet Christmas. First question, DC. Name the Legionnaire who made it to the silver screen. In name only.
Okay,
wow.
He's dressed as Power Man in the yellow shirt and the afro and the headband, the metal headband. Was he reading?
The essential
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, yeah.
What was that?
Disco music in the back. So like, oh my god.
Did you see the little wave going through the picture? The little.
And the funny thing about when he was Nick Fury, he's upgraded from a T-shirt to a
leather jacket.
When he said, "Don't worry, we nuked him," he held up one of the Hulk hands. So
Yeah, the noisemaker ones in the panel.
that was funny. But did he have facial hair as Nick Fury and not as? Yeah. I was like, I wonder if he shaved or which one is really. That is insane. He's also upgraded because he had the shield lettering went or whatever, like the narration went across. That is awesome. All right, which Legionnaire made it to the silver screen in name only? Now, are you talking code name or real name? Crap. Would it have to be a DC movie? Or a Marvel movie? Damn. This is... I need like 10 minutes to think about this. Rock Cream, Garthman, Lightning Blood, Ultra Boy, Phantom Girl, Shadow Lass, Karate Kid.
There you go.
It's a good way to work it out.
Karate Kid. Now we go to Marvel. In what year did Nick Fury, the white honky version, make his first appearance?
The white honky version. What year?
I gotta wonder if Rick had his hair like that back in the day. That's what, he looks a little natural, you know. He's carrying himself very well, you know.
I'm gonna say, I think he's a Jack Kirby creation. This is tough because I'm thinking 50s and I'm hoping it's. I don't think it's the 40s. I'm gonna say 56.
Just a random year.
Yeah.
1963.
That's what I was going to do.
Before Archie Andrews was Archie, what name did he go by?
Who?
Archie
Andrews.
Andrews.
Is that Archie? What
I
name
don't
did he
know.
go by? There's my Nick Fury quarter. Archie Bennett.
Okay.
I have no idea.
One of my favorite words. Chick.
Chick?
Huh.
Before he was Archie Andrews, he went by Chick.
Oh. The end? What does that say?
Produced, written, and directed by Rick Gordon.
That was cool. That it? Yep.
Yep.
Nice job.
That was well done.
50 cents.
Who's that lady?
God, that's a lot of fun. He is going all out. And I think he just posted that he's not going to New York Comic Con.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, man, he lives in New York. Oh.
He's not coming down. Is he coming down to 100th episode?
I don't think so. That's a shame.
And I look forward to the day we meet him, though. We
I
have a lot of
know.
fun hanging out.
No. Come on. Come down. We're going to Scores. No.
That won't let him out.
He doesn't have to tell his wife. Well, kudos for you, man. That's great. We'll have to put that up like we did the last time.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
linked it on the forum
Oh, did he?
himself. Yeah, he's got.
God, that's so funny.
Oh.
He's so cool.
He's got a good.
The question
good
is,
collection,
how many
too.
other black superheroes are there?
Oh, he posted a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, who should I be next? And I think Power Man was the. People were saying Falcon, and somebody said
Oh, yeah.
Storm.
Does he have the cleavage for that? I don't know. Oh boy.
You said Storm. I have a toy thing then now. Come to think of it later.
We'll do it now.
Do it now? I was at Walmart and I had a Storm Marvel Legend and I ended up selling her and Iceman and that whole series. I was just at Super Walmart in Ephrata. No, God, I always say that. Temple. And they have a new line of X-Men action figures out that Toy Biz is creating, and it looked like a repainted white uniform Storm, which the one from Marvel Legends was black. Black uniform. And then it's Gambit, Cyclops, 2 Wolverines, a stealth one, and I want to say like an aquamarine fighter, which was a little weird. And they come with an Archangel. And they all come with a gimmick or like some big bulky piece of equipment. But I had no idea that this line was coming out. I must have missed something or it wasn't
falling
really
behind.
announced. Yeah. But it was some kind of new just X-Men titled action figure line. And so I picked up Storm, so I have Storm the way... Because I like the white costume, so I have Storm the way I want. So look for that if you're interested.
Whatever
if
happened
you're
to
an
the days
X-Men
when you
fan.
just got the like what I used to like to call the shit basic figure, where you don't have all the extra
Oh, I know,
paraphernalia,
I
where
know.
now you have like the Arctic version and the
Yeah.
submersible version.
And none of them make sense.
No.
No.
I got some voicemails.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Dean Levenstein calling, walking the streets of Brooklyn right now. I just finished listening to the latest episode of Comic Geek Speak, which I believe is episode 85, and Brian, I believe you owe a quarter to the jar. It's pronounced Yu-Gi-Oh, not Yu-Gi-Oh. As an anime fan, although I'm not exactly a fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh series, I've heard people mention it enough times where I figured that out. So just thought I'd let you guys know, and now you can get back to your daily lives. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
They're definitely keeping up on
Yeah,
that.
now
That's
we're
right.
getting
Yeah,
help
I
from
know. Thank you. Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay.
What's up, bitches? This is Mario, Death in Calabria on the boards. I was just calling to get some advice. So I'm switching over to DCBS, and my first order is for the books shipping in the month of January. So for the first time in, let's see, I guess it'll be 17 years of consistent weekly comic book, purchasing. For the first time since, I was 17 years ago, I will not be getting books on a weekly basis. I'm quite scared about this. I'm afraid I'm going to go through some kind of withdrawal, maybe have delirium tremens or whatever, and really probably freak out quite a bit. I want you guys would suggest I do for those, 4.5 weeks in January without books. I mean, now after I get my first shipment that first week of February, I'll be able to space the stuff out. But I just don't know what to do. I'm going to have to start drinking to make up for no books. But I did purchase the recent Spider-Woman Essentials, so I'm hoping that will carry me through the month. But if anybody just, wants to send me books, that'd be great. Just send me some books every week that first month. That'd be wonderful. I mean, even if it's Identity Disc. I had never read it, so I'll read something. But anyway, that's it. Hope you guys have a good holiday. And, happy holidays for those who hate hearing Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas for those who hate hearing Happy Holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Have a happy Hanukkah. Feliz Navidad. Buon Natale. The whole gamut. Happy New Year.
Okay, Mario. Okay.
You know what I mean. Happy holidays, basically, is what I'm saying. So, peace out. Home cheese.
Here's an advice for you. Do something Shane doesn't do. Spend time with your fiancée.
I just got back from a nice weekend. I read trades.
That's why I was before he said the essentials. I was going to say go buy yourself an essentials and read it all month.
I read 2 favorite trades and went and bought one.
I actually like it this way because then I can catch up from all the back issues that I bought when we were in Baltimore until my next shipment comes, so I can try to pound out. And I got a stack of.
You said pound out.
Pound out. Tug it, would you?
As long as I'm ahead of Adam, who's like years behind, I'm happy.
That's what he got to. There's got to be something in his collection he hasn't read. Please.
Yeah.
January dates.
Bum, bum, bum.
Here we go. January 5th, 1914, George Reeves was born. Cover date January 1940, Flash Comics #1, first appearance of the Golden Age Flash, Golden Age Hawkman, Johnny Thunder, and the Whip. January 22nd, 1956, John Wesley Shipp was born. It's all very relevant to our Flash. January 27, 1957, Frank Miller was born. January 29th, 1958, Jeff Loeb was born. January 31st, 1960, Grant Morrison was born. January 12th, 1962, Joe Quesada was born. Cover date January 1963, Mad 76, Sergio Aragonés' first contribution to the magazine. January 12th, 1966, although I think I also read January 16th, I'm not sure. The Batman live-action TV show premiered on NBC. Cover date of January 1967, Detective Comics 359, first appearance of Barbara Batgirl Gordon. Garth Ennis was born January 16th, 1970. Alex Ross was born January 22nd, 1970. Heather Graham was born January 29th, 1970.
Why is she on there?
Roller Girl.
From Hell. She was in the From Hell movie.
Okay.
I just thought because
Just 'cause
Peter
she's one of
thought
your
she was hot.
favorites.
That's just one of my favorites. Cover date of January 1976, Superman vs. Spider-Man, the first comic company crossover. DC Marvel. Cover date of January 1981, Moon Knight 15th, the first direct sales only comic, which there might be a Dazzler issue that also was that, and I think there was also like a Superboy issue that could be credited with that.
Give it to Moon Knight. He deserves it.
Cover date January 1983, Omega Man #3, first appearance of Lobo. Excuse me. Cover date of January 84, Marvel had their Assistant Editors Month throughout their comics. That same cover date of January 84, Saga the Swamp Thing #20, Alan Moore's first American comic book work. Jean Grey returned to the Marvel Universe in Fantastic Four 286, cover date of January 86. Cover date of January 87, Superman #1, John Byrne's ongoing series begins. January 23rd of 87, E. Nelson Bridwell dies, and he was a big Superman creator. writer and editor, and a couple other things. Sandman #1, cover date of January 1989. The Batman Beyond animated series began in January of 1999. January 1st, 1999, as part of a sale to Wildstorm to DC, Jim Lee became DC exclusive. Gil Kane died of a long bout with cancer at the age of 73, January 31st, 2000. John Buscema died January 10th, 2002. Kurt Schaffenberger died January 24th, 2002. And on January 2nd of 2004, Ultimate Fantastic Four #1 hit the stand with a print run of 200,000, which at that time was pretty big. And on January 15th of 2004, news was released that Dave Cockrum was ill and in the hospital. And although he recovered, a lot of the creators came out and they did a tribute book to him, and it was a pretty touching story. So there you go, January dates.
Going back to Heather Graham, are you going to watch her new sitcom, Peter?
Hell no.
She's only good when she's not talking.
I don't watch TV.
I just wonder.
Well, first of all, I mean,
one of your favorites?
That he'll give 3 episodes.
No, not
to
at
Target.
all.
All right. We're going to end right now before anything else happens. Reminder that this episode of Comic Geek Speak was sponsored by the New York City Comic Con, February 24th through 26th at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City. We'll be there, and we hope to see you there. If you want to send us an email, it's comicgeekspeak@gmail.com, and check out our website at comicgeekspeak.com, and thanks to upallnightgaming.com for hosting our website. If you want to send us a voicemail, please call 206-888-4805. Please vote for us on Podcast Alley. And as usual, we are brought to you in conjunction with WorldFamousComics.com, your spot on the internet for the best comic book and entertainment-related columns, contests, features, reviews, news, resources, and more.